Hello, glorious Sag family. I love sitting down with you all to talk through the energy. You know how I feel about you, Sages. You are very, very precious to me. Some of my favorite energy in the world. You bring out the best in me. You inspire me to be my best self. So thank you for existing, all of you out there. My heart is so warm. October is pretty powerful. It has its own kind of energetic force field here, and it's not. Sometimes we have months that are all about the mystery, right? It's like I'm not sure what's going to happen next, but I guess I'm just going to fall back into the mystery and hope that it makes sense. October is not one of those months. October is one of those months where we are getting some very clear information. Libra and Scorpio energy generally is curious and wants answers, right? Scorpio especially is very investigative, wants to get to the truth and the heart and the core of things. Doesn't want to just sit on the surface, but wants to really hit into the answers. And Libran energy is so much about connectivity, communication, understanding, balance. So the two, when planets are working through those energies, which they will be this month, we are getting huge hits of clarity. And also this month, a lot of planets are direct at this time, including Pluto going direct in Capricorn. Pluto going direct in Capricorn gives us a clarity on our shadow work and what we've been working on since April when it went retrograde in Capricorn, and is giving us that, okay, it's time to take what you learned in the shadow work, in the underground, in the interior, and move forward with it. Let's go. Not to mention though, so yes, the planets are starting to go direct. We're having a lot of directional energy here. I will say though, Mercury is moving into Scorpio on the 3rd as well, when Pluto goes direct. And very shortly after that is beginning its pre-shadow phase on the 11th in Scorpio. We are getting prepared for a Mercury retrograde in Scorpio in November. So just kind of keep that in mind in October. However, pre-shadow phase with Mercury, I've noticed, is a time where you get a lot of information, because it's the first time you're going over all the information. Then we'll go back over it with the Mercury retrograde, reassess, then we'll go back over it with the post-shadow. So when you're going over it the first time, a lot of times you'll get all the information you need to understand the Mercury retrograde itself. And this month is just one of those months where we have the illumination of clarity. So we have Pluto direct going direct in your 2nd house in Capricorn, in your house of values. So you're going to be feeling really pumped up to invest, to make those time and energy investments. But then the planets are starting to move into your 12th house, right? Mercury and Venus are both going to move into Scorpio early on in the month. And that means that we are starting to do that 12th house spiritual work. So Sages, you are starting to tap into that higher level frequency that rides with you all the way until Sag season. And with Venus and Mercury, the planets of love and communication going in your 12th house, you're going somewhere deep with this. You're going somewhere very crisp and clear with the information you are getting. So this is a big time. The note that came out as I'm talking through this is the footfall. Oh, I just got goosebumps when I was about to say this note. That's wild. The footfalls that you are asked to take, right? In your deliberate action, in your inspired action, in the things that come through you as far as what to do in a day, what to do in a week, Queen of Pentacles, are going to be so crisp and clear. So crisp and clear. I didn't even mention the fact that we have an Aries full moon on the 13th. Super powerful, very illuminating, very clarifying, extremely uplifting to Sages. And a new moon in your 12th house in Scorpio on the 27th. Very connective. October is extremely powerful. Even as I'm sitting here, I kind of felt through this, but as I sit in the readings, it's always interesting what ends up really coming through me. 5 of Pentacles. Oh, Sag. You guys are so great, and yet you always have to tap into The other part of you that isn't just optimistic Jupiterian expansion, fun all the time. There is a part of you that needs nurturing and love at a deep level, and that 12th house energy will ask you to go there with it. But this month, the footfalls are clear. Each next right step is extremely clear for you in October. 3 of Pentacles. Lots of pentacles. But see, that's that footfall thing, the clarity of a footfall, right? The clarity of where you're investing. Star, hey, love it. Love that for you guys. There's plenty of abundance here. You are going to know exactly what you need to do in October. Queen of Cups. Exactly what you need to do. It almost moves through you like a force bigger than you. You know, things that maybe you would take a little bit of extra time being like, maybe I'll consider that. Whoa, the Fool and the 4 of Pentacles. Very interesting. Ooh, something big is coming here. You are about to jump into something really new and big, and that is why you're getting that 4 and 5 of Pentacles energy, my friends, because when we are making an agreement of any kind with ourselves, with our guides, with people we love, with an adventure, we take a moment. That little voice, that one little voice that's there that says, should we? Should we really do this? Pops up. King of Pentacles. How many pentacles can one Sag reading have? Ooh, the bottom of my deck I just looked is the Ace of Wands, and I want to include that because that's definitely the vibe. Okay. But that little voice likes to come in. The bigger the footfall, the bigger the jump, the bigger the news, the bigger the connective moment, the more likely that little voice, it's like a little bit like, should we? Needs a moment. Now, I'm a really big advocate, and I keep getting like full body shivers during this reading, so hold on, here we go. I'm a really big advocate of listening to that voice, right? Not to buy into it, not to be like a paying audience member that's really into it, to honor this. This is survival mechanisms. This is parts of ourselves that have experienced loss or trauma or uncertainty at other points in time and wants to keep us safe. And it's also the part of us that is going to be, yes, a little bit of the skeptic, a little bit of the critic, and can step outside of it and look at it. And a lot of times, if we just give it that breath to just have it out, the argument isn't that compelling or interesting, but you can just say, thank you for that information. I'm going to move forward. And I think that that's a really important practice, especially, like I said, the bigger the investment. I can't stop getting goosebumps and chills. Whoa, you guys, this is so powerful. I'm just trying to my body is, it's like getting a lot of information right now. Here's the deal. Something big is afoot here. Some big adventure is afoot here. And now that adventure can be quite literally an adventure of moving or travel. Can also just be an adventure in the work you do in the world, in a promotion or in a new job role or the beginning of a new business. Can be a new role that you have in your family, in your relationships. But it's big, it's symbolic, it has a big value to it. Queen of Pentacles is an investment queen, right? She is the self-nurture, and one of the things I will say to start this month off with, the more you make sure you're taking care of yourself, give yourself places and pockets to just rest and be quiet. Make sure, because all this expansion is going to really ask a lot of your physical cells and your emotional, energetic framework. You want to have time to nurture, and the Queen of Pentacles is very much the nurturer, right? But also she's an investor, right? She pays attention to this energetic shape. She's looking into that and paying attention to where she's putting her resources. Now for you guys, something big is coming, right? So part of you is going to feel maybe a little unworthy. maybe a little nervous that this new thing, this person that you're becoming, this phase you're jumping into, you didn't even know that this was who you were going to be a year ago. You know, this is a lot of this identity stuff is stuff that's a little bit surprising to you. I mean, it's stuff you've been working on and building toward, and it makes sense, but if you talked to yourself a year ago or 6 months ago, that self would have been like, are you kidding me? That's what we're working on now? This is where we're going? That is wild, right? And the Five of Pentacles likes to come up when we're about to really take that. And you may be kind of getting like the tingles with like, I can feel that this is big. Like before it all starts to hit. Because October, as it elapses, will be giving more and more of this clarity, this precision, this intensity of like, this is it. We're doing something big here. The longer the month goes on. So you may be getting some precognition kind of things going on in the first week of the month. And then we start hitting into it. Then we start hitting into these crisp footfalls of commitment to a vision, to a project. Now, this is something that feels really good. You're not questioning it at a heart or core level whatsoever, right? Like this is not, you're not sitting there like, I can weigh out the pros and cons and maybe it's good or maybe it's bad. It's like, this is something you for sure know you want. And if somebody asks you the question about it, you'd be like, yes, I want that. It wouldn't be something you had to like torture yourself waffling over for, you know, a week before you came to a conclusion. This is something you know you've wanted. This is something you've been building toward. This is something that is a shared vision with those around you. This is something where you are really expanding and stepping into something big. You know you want it. And yet it's still like kind of unbelievable it's here now. Maybe it's something you thought, oh, well, maybe like in March or April, I'll be having that type of conversation. It's here now. You're starting to have these conversations now. Trust your intuition. It's interesting you're getting these queens because the Queen of Pentacles and the Queen of Cups both are very introspective, right? They aren't so concerned with external action. They want to make sure things are right at the core, right inside. And you are tapping into your hidden spiritual house, 12th house energy this month, which means you have an added intuitive bonus. It can slow you down energetically a little bit as that energy starts to move into Scorpio because it does start to get you reflective. However, it naturally, innately gives you a deeper sense of divine rhythm and timing, and it gives you greater access to your intuitive mode, where it's very easy to take the right steps, take the right actions, take the right initiatives to move through. And for you, your intuition is leading you directly into this Fool, right? I mean, look at this Queen of Cups into the Fool. It's a big footfall. It's so weird that that was the word that kept coming up for your message this month was footfall. Footfall, footfall, footfall. For me, it's just, I get like this image of like these boots in a fresh layer of snow, and it's really crisp snow. It's the kind of snow that really crunches when you walk in it. But you know exactly where you're going. It's like each next crisp foot, crunch, crunch, crunch. And you just know. No wavering. That's how this feels. The Fool is big energy, right? The Fool is the beginning of the journey. It's the 0 point. So this means you are starting a new energetic cycle with the agreements you're making, with the identities you're taking on now. This is bigger stuff than just October, really, honestly. And these are things that the tip of the iceberg with it, really, because you're starting to really embrace this newest version of yourself. You're really starting to embrace the new habits, methods, ideas, locations that are a part of you now. But that doesn't mean you're going to master that all this month. This is something that the process itself will be the journey, right? Cliche as it may be, but here's what's interesting. That Four of Pentacles pops right up after the Fool, right? It's like we have a little mini timeline here. We have the intuitive hit, the knowing, the emotive knowing, the jumping in, the going, and then the, oh no, can I really do this? Maybe I should just stick with what I've already been doing. Maybe this is just, even for a Sag, you know, sometimes Sagittarius, you guys, you want that stability. You kind of are like, whoa, maybe this time I should just hold on to what I have. Should I just trust in my innate mutable fire that's always having me go and explore? Maybe I should just stick with what I was doing before. Should I really do this? Should I really invest in this? Because this is something that invests your time and your energy and your thought. This is something that you're choosing to invest in long term. And that's where the King of Pentacles and the Ace of Wands comes in. Speaking of investors, King of Pentacles is like the investor extraordinaire, right? This guy, not in this deck as much, in other Rider-Waite decks, he's got all these vines all around him, but the whole thing with him is like he is into those long-term investments, right? Maybe you have a King of Pentacles in your life, I don't know. But when he shows up, we are talking big investment, right? This isn't like a wishy-washy or kind of half in, half out, or, you know, sometimes we make little investments in things. Those are fun and lighthearted and playful. This is a little bit more impactful, you know, and I think you're going to know that even if, and one of the other parts of the message I had for you is like, you are going to see what the footfalls you need to take are this month. It's going to be crystal clear. It's not a question. There is going to be part of you that's a little hungry for the next footfalls in like November, December, January. Like, what are those footfalls going to be? I need to know before I make this investment now. And it's like, you're not going to get those. So I'll just tell you now, like you'll get intuitive hits of the bigger picture. You're not going to get the details. Ace of Wands. Remember the Ace of Wands, my friends, in this big journey. There are a few cards I want you to remember. Ace of Wands, Fool, Queen of Cups, Star. You intuitively know this isn't really surprise energy. This month isn't about surprises for you. It's just about clarifying, solidifying, knowing, investing. That's it. That's it. Boom. Done. You guys get the reputation of being really not interested in investing in things and in being very, you know, like your whole like meme world cliches that you know, you don't want to answer things and you're really inconsistent and you just want to be free-spirited and people can't tie you down. Situations can't tie you down. But one of the things I've learned about Sag energy is like, more than anything, deep down at a root level, Sag, you want to feel held by something and feel really seen by something that really works and connects with you, and that you want that feeling of stability and investment because you have really passionate, visionary energy. Whoa, Ace of Cups flew out of my Cosmic Tarot deck. I was going to close out this energy reading with a card from my Cosmic Tarot, and the Ace of Cups wanted to join. But if there's one thing I know about Sag is you guys have that big, generous, loving, gooey, ooey heart, and it is made for deep investment in the things you do, in the impact you make on the world, and the people you love. You invest very deeply, and you crave nothing more than to be invested in equally like that. And this month has really kind of got that feeling to it. It's a little bit denser. It's a little bit denser energy. It's a little bit more anchoring for you, even if it's very adventurous and a little bit overwhelming with all the information coming in. There's this density to it. There's this realness to it. There's this solid ground under your feet that those footfalls are hitting. And I think it's going to feel really good, but maybe a little different than it's been feeling for a while. Maybe a little different from that kind of free-floating, falling feeling that's been lurking around most of 2019. This has got a little bit of a different flavor to it. So kind of keep that in mind. It's less questioning, more answers, and not having to dig around looking for the answers in order to get them. The other thing I want you just to keep in mind as we move into October and as we move into the last part of 2019, we are closing up Jupiter's transit through Sag. I know, I'm kind of sad. I'm like, I was getting used to life with Jupiter at home in Sag. And everybody's experienced that very differently. There's been a lot of learning and a lot of growth for the Sag family. But Jupiter's moving into Capricorn in December. And so these last 2 months of Jupiter with you are going to be delivering all the final goodies, like a ton at once. It's culmination time, and big culmination time for you all. And so you're going to be feeling the closing of that transit as well as it gets into the last couple of months here. And it does change the flavor of the conversation. So you're going to be noticing that in October as well. I'm actually going to get into that. I started my Patreon, y'all, and I am going to be adding so much extra content every week for things like the new transit with Jupiter shifting into Capricorn, with Pluto going direct, with this Mercury retrograde that will be happening in Scorpio in November. All of those are going to be at my Patreon, as well as weekly astrology forecasts, so you get a feel for the energies and a lot more about my personal journey. So if you're interested in hanging out with me every week and having fun and having access to all those extras, I highly recommend you go over there. There's already some posted. There's going to be a lot more coming up over the next weeks. I hope you join me over there. I would love to see you on Patreon. You can also find me on my website, SARAHTAROT.com. I am booking some sessions. I still have some sessions in late October, November, so if you hurry, you may get one of those if you're wanting a one-on-one reading with me. I love working with you guys. You know how I feel about you. I have some early December readings too available for Sag season. You can also find me on Instagram, Sarah Verba. I would love to see you guys over there on Instagram to join me for more reflections on life and existence, as always. And, you can find PinkLune as well at her Etsy shop. So if you're interested in any of her beautiful gems and stones, you can go check her out for your altars or what have you. I'm really excited for October for Sagittarius. This is a big one. This is a big one. I can't express it more clearly than that. I love you. I love you so much. So much. Thank you guys for everything you've given me over the last few years. I feel like you've given me some of the best gifts of my life. Over the last few years especially, there's been just this really abundant love coming from you guys, and I'm just so grateful. I'm wishing you all just the best on your journeys. I want the best for Sagittarius. I want the absolute best for you guys. I want everything to just be beautiful and vibrant and warm and nurturing and loving for you guys. And I have such a good feeling about October and the magic it's going to be bringing you on this adventure. I love you. I'll see you in November for more beautiful things. Have a beautiful October.